So I don't think they're fully ripe yet. I mean, it's still kind of like orangey, but they're turning color. So I guess there will be some pomegranates this year. Today was one of those days where I just didn't get anything done like I thought I would. Um, it's one of those days where I don't know if you just lack the motivation or there's just something in your head where you're having trouble starting. The only time I've ever really felt like this is back in school when you have like way too much homework. It's like every teacher assigned homework. So you have all of it. And then you're thinking to yourself, you don't even want to begin because it's just too much. You just don't really know where to start. I'd have to say that's kind of how I felt today. There's a lot of things that I need to do for my work and everything, but I just couldn't get my mind right to do them. So then usually what I do is when I try to avoid doing that kind of work, I'll go and try to make a video or something to kind of still be creative but do something else. And that wasn't working either. So by like attempt number 5 to really get started and everything, I just got to the point where like this isn't that kind of day. Like it's just not going to work out. So I did a little stuff around the house, things that I needed to do. My wife asked me to water those trees and everything. So I did that and then threw out some trash and things like that. And just did a little bit to still be useful, but nowhere near what I thought I would accomplish. I just realized there's days where you just don't have it in you, and I don't necessarily have the answers. I don't have the answers of what you're supposed to do in that situation, because usually what I do that failed me. So then what happened was I started going on my phone and then started watching videos, started looking at tech items and things that could make my videos better. But I don't even think that's the situation. Even if you had $1 million camera and you got nothing to say, all you have is $1 million camera just sitting in a box. And it's not really about me not having anything to say. I just lacked the drive to get going today. And I think that's important to say, because you got to be feeling like that sometimes, where it's like there's a lot of things you want to do, there's a lot of things you should be doing, but it's just, you just lack that drive to do it. The only thing I would say, which has worked for me in the past, is breaking it down into little steps and doing something like to get started. For example, I wanted to make a video, so I just filmed me watering the trees and everything, hoping that would kind of spark the momentum to just keep going. But at least I got an intro out of it, and then I guess just talking about the situation, the reality of life, I was able to make this video. I mean, I am a little tired. The other day, I did go to the emergency room for Jared. And like I said, well, I don't even know. This may be the first time you've ever seen me. I have a son. He's disabled. He has special needs. He has CP, to be specific, cerebral palsy. And for some reason, Jared didn't look right. We took him to the emergency room, and we were there from 4 p.m. to like midnight. And when I got home at midnight, by that time you're like wide awake. So I started editing videos until like 1:45 in the morning, which is kind of crazy, but I just couldn't sleep. So I am a little tired. It's been a wild couple days, and maybe that's it, but my whole thing is, even with nothing to say, I still feel like I want to try to create videos, because that's something where I don't want to lose the momentum. Like my business, I have a clothing brand, I'm a graphic designer, and I would have to say I've reached the point where like I don't have momentum. I let it all slip away. I have a pretty active Instagram account. I haven't posted in maybe like 3 posts in probably about 3 months. I just, not that I'm discouraged with it. It's just I've lost that spark inside you, like that burn, kind of like a furnace. You know how you have a water furnace and there's that little pilot light, the little flame that just stays going all the time? I feel like my pilot light went out, and I've been trying to figure out how to spark it, but everything I do it just lost the spark. And the only spark that I have right now is making these kind of videos, trying to grow as a creator, but also just figuring out what makes myself tick. I watch a lot of videos from other content creators, a lot of them vlogging, a lot of them living their lives. And the most amazing part about it is I'm able to learn so much about my life watching them, how they move and operate through the world. And not just that, but also great examples of people and practices that I would like to take on and bring it into my life to make my life better. A lot of these people have no idea that they're even doing that, but that's honestly the truth of it. I watch it. I see how great of husbands they are, how great of fathers, friends, and just human beings in general. And it inspires me to be a better man myself. I don't have a lot of male role models in my life. There's only a few. And I just think it's nice to just see, even if it's not 100% reality, just to see another glimpse of other people and just saying, hey, you're all right. The weird things you do, you're okay. But these are the things that you can do, and it seems to benefit their life. And I want to try to take those things on. But that's kind of aside from the point. But again, maybe it's not, So going back to my situation with my son, I guess for anyone that has been following and they have questions about Jared, I'd just like to say I would like to give you a little backstory. And I'm not going to make this too long because it can be really technical. It could be like a 5-hour video at that point. But during COVID, Jared ended up getting really sick. His small intestine twisted for some strange reason. We don't have all the answers of why. It's completely rare. You probably have a better chance of getting struck by lightning 12 consecutive times than having that happen to you. But for some reason, that's what happened to Jared. It was Mother's Day 2021, and we were out for a walk with my family. Jared didn't look right, and he was sweaty, kind of out of it, looked really tired. And it ended up being his small intestines twisted. But we didn't know at the time, so we went to the emergency room. They didn't know what was wrong with him, but they said that he started to develop sepsis. And if you know sepsis, it's basically your insides are shutting down. And that was a problem. So they had to figure out what it was, and they wanted to order a CT scan. When they did that, they saw his intestines were twisted. And then what they said, which is really shocking, is that a lot of times if that happens to you, you'll go into the doctor and you'll say my stomach hurts, I feel sick, almost like I'm constipated or something. And they'll tell you just go home, try to go to the bathroom, and maybe you'll feel better. But what happens is if your intestines are twisted like that, usually because of the blood pressure and everything, you usually don't make it back to the hospital and you pass away. Most people, after that occurrence, they last about 2 hours. So like I said, we took Jared to the hospital at 4 p.m. We didn't really find out what was going on until about 11:30 at night. So from 4 p.m. till 11:30, Jared's body was trying to shut down. And for some reason, Jared is an amazing fighter. and he fought through it, stayed alive. The surgeon didn't believe that Jared was alive based on the CT scan that he saw. And the emergency room doctor said, no, this patient is alive. I'm looking at him right now. And then they said, well, we need to do an emergency surgery. Keep in mind, this was during COVID and everything was shut down. So I thought, honestly, everything was fine with my son. I went home to go check on my other kids, and my wife calls me and says, I need to come back. The doctors are saying it's really bad and we need to prepare for the worst. And when you hear that, it just puts you in a different place. And I went back to the hospital. My wife was the only one sitting there. And if you could imagine, sorry, I didn't bring the wind muff, so I don't know if this is getting crazy. There's kind of wind. But we went back to the hospital, and when I went there, it was just my wife sitting there. And it looked like someone waiting in an airport that was completely empty. It looked like a scene out of a movie. And all there was this little screen that just said Jared's name, surgery in progress. And that was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he went through surgery, and maybe like around 3-4 in the morning, a surgeon ends up coming out. And he said, so I opened up Jared, and when I opened him up, his intestines were looking like a bomb went off inside him. And 8 out of 10 surgeons at that point would have just said, we're so sorry, there's nothing we could do. He said, but when he was looking at it, he saw the twist. So he untied it. And as he untied it, the blood started to flow. And as the blood was flowing, he went into, the surgeon went into, let's save this guy mode. And we're so thankful that he did, because Jared has made a miraculous recovery, but he had to go through 5 major surgeries after that. And the thing was, the surgeon said, when he came out, said, this is going to be minute to minute, but Jared is okay right now. And then we're like, what does that mean? As a parent, those words just don't make sense to you. But after we look back in hindsight, look at the situation, you realize it's like the coast wasn't clear. And then he went through multiple surgeries after that, and it became from minute to minute to hour, day to day, till finally no talk of anything. And he was okay, but an adult body is supposed to have 20 feet of small intestine. Jared only has 2 feet left, which means the way Jared's body processes nutrition is a lot different. It's a lot more difficult. It's really where we struggle right now. And the other thing is, when they did this, they had to basically seal off his small intestine and no longer connect it to the stomach, which was crazy. Well, actually, not to the stomach. They had to seal off his small intestine, and it no longer exited out, if you know what I mean. And he had to have a tube where everything was processing and then exiting through this tube into a bag. And he wasn't allowed to use his stomach, and all of his nutrition was through his veins, which was something I've never heard of. But Jared ended up staying in the hospital for a total of 4 months for the first part, and then they needed him to come home to recover for another 3 months, and then he went back into the hospital to connect everything back, and we were in the hospital again for another 3 months. So in 2021, there was a total of 10 months of our lives that we spent at Children's Hospital, and we're thankful for that. But I'll tell you, at that point, it changes your life. It changes the way you see things, the way you do things, what you see as important. And I think for me, the things that I thought were important no longer were as important. And every day as we continued this journey along with him, I just realized there's so much more to life than what I thought prior to that. And I want to try to maximize my life and what I can spread to the world, even if I don't really know what my purpose is. Maybe my purpose is to tell Jared's story because Jared can't. But there's some reason that the universe kept him alive. God wanted him to be here, and he's a miracle. Like, I can't tell you in any other way. If you don't believe in miracles, that would completely change your mind. It was something that I've never seen. Jared was at a point where he was nearly gone. 99.9% gone. And now you look at him, he's laughing, he's playing, hanging out with me, and it's amazing. But like I said, it's changed the perspective of everything. It has changed a lot of who I am today. But I don't even know if necessarily what I'm talking about right now had to do with the beginning. I actually don't think it does. And that's not the point. The point is, I'm trying to just, speak what's on my mind, let you know what I'm talking about. And if it's relatable to you, I hope that it helps you. But I guess at the end of the day, you'll be frustrated that you didn't get the things done that you wanted to. You'll be frustrated that you wanted to do more. And I think sometimes it's okay. Things just didn't work out. It could clearly be worse. We're fortunate to say the odds are high. We could always try again tomorrow. I know that they say tomorrow's never promised. I understand that. And it's true. But for most of us, the likelihood of tomorrow is high. And don't beat yourself up if you couldn't get done what you wanted to today. Just try to do what you can. Appreciate what you have around you. And that's kind of what happened today. Like I said, I wanted to go out and adventure a few times. I just couldn't do it. I should have been doing work and getting my mind into designing things and things like that, but it just wasn't there. The pilot wasn't lit. But yeah. So I don't really know what this vlog's about. This vlog is about just, I guess, life and just not beating yourself up. I don't want to beat myself up. I've beat myself up so much in life that I'm surprised I'm not just a pure bruise. But I don't want to do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. And I just accept sometimes things just don't work out, and accept it. So I'm going to try again tomorrow. Because I know with this, as far as vlogging and everything, I do still have a pilot light lit. I need to find some kind of spark tonight to light my graphic design fire. Because there's things I need to do. But yeah. Whatever time you're watching this, hope you have an amazing day. And I appreciate you for checking it out. And yeah, hopefully that kind of explains my little sidekick Jared. And just understand when you see him how amazing it is. Like, he truly is a miracle. Probably the strongest guy I've ever met in my life. And I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.